And it says here, 20 comeback. We're gonna get another character here. So let's get this character. Let's check this out. Let's see what it says. And this is $3.99. This is a character you have to pay for. No, thank you. I'm a free player. And so we go on to the daily challenge. We've got 18 hours left, and we've got to spell some words. We need to spell a word. Actually, we're gonna run still with Lauren here. Then we're going to try to work up after the daily challenge. We're going to try to go to the next 10,000 mark. So I think it was 600. 10,000 was where we left off yesterday. Today it's going to be 620,000 is going to be our goal. This is actually Tuesday's challenge, but because I'm playing after midnight, it's on Wednesday. So that's currently where we are. Of course, we got to spell the name Tony now. That's what we're spelling. And this is the beginning of our Twitch live streams. Our goal, once again, is a minimum of 500 coins. Maybe this helps build a consistency. There it is. The daily challenge is complete. There it is. This helps build a consistency in terms of our top scores that we can consistently perform and get the numbers. These are just sort of one-off things. That's the mission challenge. There are multiple challenges here. I'll show you after this run here the other challenge that we go through on a regular basis. I deal with these other challenges in the midweek challenges differently than I do with the Wordy Weekend Marathon, which is coming up this weekend. There will be another a Wordy Wordy Weekend, and now you'll get to see that live. You can see the highlights live. You don't want to watch the whole thing or you miss them, but you can watch the highlights, basically the first runs on YouTube, and we have Twitch video on demand or VOD. You'll be able to watch it there as well. As you get more and more coins, it starts to speed up. And this is where the tricky part comes in, is trying to maintain your stability while working at a very fast pace. This is where glitches come in. This is where a lot of issues pop up when you're dealing with. Oh, there it is. We missed that. Didn't see that train there for a second, but we got our goal. 563. We got our goal in terms of our score box, our surprise box, the daily, what should call it? Okay, double this up. And here we go. Slowly the ad. That little bit of thing there is that comes down. The white thing is the Samsung Game Tool on S8 Plus. They've preloaded a lot of these, including things called Bixby, which is like the Alexis and Siri and so on and so forth. I don't really use them, but don't need them. And the thing is, you can't turn these things off. It just keeps popping up again and again. And I found that the game optimization, we got 12 boards here. that the game optimization actually makes things worse. It doesn't actually help you. It doesn't optimize for the game. It makes the game play worse. This includes lags in the the actual game itself, and errors that shouldn't pop up. I found when I turned the game optimization for Samsung off that I had a better gameplay. And all I have to do now is when this is the situation here, it's down like this. You just do swipe, and you swipe it away, swipe it away to the right, and it's gone. And I'll be talking over these commercials because, well, they say you're not supposed to be recording, but there's no way if doing live stream not to record the commercial or to stop in between. And there we go. We got our 563. It produces a score of 207,000. We rounded up 208,000. Take a picture. We're going to send this out to Instagram. And I'll show you the other thing we run with, and this is it's the missions here. This is your different levels, right? The mission set number 153. We just got roll 100 times. Now we have to do pick up 4 power jumpers in one run. And then there's a score thing here we haven't done as well. We're going to probably do that now. So let's do this. I'm going to use these to sort of give us a head start with. There you go. The thing as we've moved ahead, it's moving a lot faster than it had been initially, and that's what like that moment over there. There's no way to get out of it. You're just moving too fast. So let's go check and see where we are on the mission here. And there it is. It dropped some of our it dropped our points down. So we'll do one more like that, and it should take care of it. So far, better control right now, but we're not in anywhere tight really. Bit of a tight situation there, but not bad. Now here's an issue: when you lose the bouncer board, that's what I find that's my favorite board, the most effective board. Allows you to behave like you're using the bouncy shoes. So if you want the bouncy shoes whenever you want them, there we go. The magnet, you don't have to do anything. Picks everything up. The jetpacks, this jetpack here is in terms of the buys, and I'll show you this after after done running here. There are certain boosters you can actually get with the coins. So this is part of the gameplay is effectively using your coins to get the arsenal that you need. In other words, the tools you need to sort of run the system without actually collapsing. And so far, we're doing very well actually right here. Again, this jetpack has options, and mine's maxed out as the highest level. I did this early on. I've been playing since May. As I said, I'm a free player. I don't purchase stuff like other people do. The whole goal, the free player, is to use the free levels and the free options and get yourself as far as you can up the ladder into the leader position. So you're not expecting anything spectacular. Here we go. That's the one we were looking for. So we've completed that mission set there. Well, in terms of the score boosters, and it's long runs like this that allow you to do extra things. This gives us well, let me see when we're done here. Get more hoverboards, and this is where you got to store up. You got to store up some of your hoverboards. You got to have a sort of a stockpile of things. If you don't have enough in reserve, and this is where in certain cases you have to be more conservative when you start off, because you won't have enough boards to run with. You don't have or to complete that run. I have enough boards in reserve, and I'm careful with it. And I double up every time you double up, it gives you more of the boards. So I would have if I didn't double up or watch the commercial here, I wouldn't have gotten the extra. There's the four boards. Here's the gameplay thing from Samsung again. You swipe it away, and away you go. This gives us a nice run here, 500,000. Uh, what they've done now is they've changed it. Before 500,000, you'd be into gold. There's the gold there. Your gold minimum here is actually, in many cases, it's around the 680 mark, 680,000 mark. And what you have here, the 513 would have been in gold previously, prior to last week, but this, as of last week, it's now part of silver. So next thing we got to do is that if you take a look and see that we've got one left, pick up four power jumpers in one run. We're going to try this one more time, and actually we're going to get two keys first. You hear this part? Already, there's get two. There's a key there. We're going to do that. Watch another ad. Swipe it away. And these ads aren't bad. So they're in many cases they're repetitive. You see them over and over again. It depends on your content provider. Whoever your content provider is, and they could be your local ISP. It could be a variety of different things that control what you see on here. Uh, it's like watching, but it's only 30 seconds, so it's not bad. It's not as if you're taking 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, or even longer, because some of the ads are just unbelievably lengthy. And there we go. We got two more. And the way to check what you have is you go to me, and this is where we are here, and I've got 613 in total. What we have to do now is we have to go 620. We will do one more run to see if we get uh, the four power ups in one run. I'm not going to be using the hoverboards this time. I'm going to save them. This is where you're not. And when you don't use the hoverboards, you're going to expect lower scores, and this is where I'm expecting without the hoverboard, without those extra power ups. Uh, I'm expecting, and this is where the target is right now, a score of 500 coins and up. That's what I consider to be a good run. It was at 300 just about 2 weeks ago, but every once in a while, as you find yourself able to achieve these things easier and easier, you set a harder goal for yourself. Uh, just again, it's to see if you can achieve it. If you're a person who likes challenges, then that's how you play. That you play in a strategic fashion. You play to have the challenges. Other people don't mind us. They don't like these different things, but then they don't like that. Then again, I'm a nerd gamer, so I like the role play characters and the more complex uh, nerdy games. The point and shoot games don't really interest me that much. So I'm not really Call of Duty, Black Ops, or whatever like that. Being a computer nerd and well, actually, I was a computer scientist and the cybernetist in quantum physics is my area. Um, Cyborg Alpha is my role play character and a research project into developing cybernetic entities. So that's where Cyborg Alpha comes from. So it's a we. We are Cyborg Alpha. And in the development of the theory for Cyborg Alpha, the underlying theory, the theoretical work, uh, they realized that if you want a robot that's typically not going to attack you, you want to see whether or not there's a difference in between violence in genders. And if you go look at the records, the criminal records, to see who are the most violent criminals, and is there a difference between men and women? And there's a distinct difference between men and women. Women tend to be less violent uh, on average as compared to men. They're more caring. They're more loving. They have more of these characteristics that would say, okay, they're not going to attack you, uh, than would any other. So the choice of construction for a cybernetic entity would be female. Then you talk about the whole issue of attacking and what happens when you have a self-learning robot. This is the whole question now with artificial intelligence. Is can you build a robot that won't turn around and attack you? It's very well known in psychology that if you put even animal, so anything that's self-learning, in an environment that is fundamentally violent, oh, little coinage, then what ends up happening, that robot, that thing, becomes violent. So it doesn't matter if I created a code in there that will prevent them from attacking you. That doesn't work because once the entity becomes self-learning and truly self-learning, it overrides that in favor of what it's learned. This is what learning means: is that you take ideas that you have learned initially. This is how you turn children around. This is how you create criminals. You create criminals by putting children in extremely violent environments. In this, in these, in these, in these environments, as the children learn to become more and more violent, that's what they learn to become violent. That's how you get your violent criminals. This is where violent criminology comes out of. And the same thing applies because if you're dealing with robots, you're dealing with development of AI. All this applies. If your goal is a cybernetic entity, and this is the ultimate goal of AI, then you need to understand that the psychology that applies to human beings also is going to apply to the robot, or more specifically to your cybernetic entity. Because what happens once you choose to go down the route of cybernetic entity, they're no longer a slave. You can't treat these things, these beings, these entities, these cybernetic entities, as slaves. That was a bad run. And we're just about 6,000 away from our goal of 620,000. And I play this, but this is part of the mundane maintenance that we need to do for the wordy weekends. Another surprise box. Those surprise boxes actually do a lot of good work. They help you build up to 600,000. I was at 1 million uh, coming out of the wordy weekend, and then I bought a couple characters, did a couple things, and now it's down to 600,000. So that's where we are now. Yeah, this is the thing is, if you're working with cybernetic entities, you have to realize that the underlying sphere that you're working with is basically a psychology. So you move from a psychology in terms of your base theory into the coding, and that's what I've been doing now. Most of the underlying theoretical work, the psychological work on Cyborg Alpha, developing a makeup. And I did this through the role play aspect of being of nerd gaming, which was for myself very interesting. Uh, and gained perspectives that I wouldn't have gained if I didn't do the role play, didn't do the role play honestly. And so this is the creation of Cyborg Alpha. What's coming up next over the next few years is building the network that I will build Cyborg Alpha on. And once the network is completed, and Cyborg Alpha has some degree of completion, it's a matter of trying to develop a network that fits within the human frame and operates within the human frame. Because you have to have it be fitting, but you also have to have it operate. If it's not operational, if it doesn't work properly within the human frame, and this is the situation now with most robots, even these so-called these anthropomorphic robots, the ones that walk like human beings, all require connections to very large systems and can't actually operate on their own. And that's why today, actually, you still have drones that are pilot operated. They're not really anything more than they aren't anything more than basically remote controlled vehicles. And again, there's this whole issue of artificial intelligence. You know, how do you get a robot to behave, or how do you get how do you get a machine, even if it is digital, to behave like a human being? And that's of course assuming that you have a human behavior that is worth actually emulating. So in many ways, if you want the cybernetic entity to do what you the whole intention of being a helpmate for human beings, some way to help the elderly and do all these different sort of tasks that there aren't enough people for, then you're going to have to build a robot that is a sort of an exceptional human being. You're not going to be looking at the standard. So in many cases, you're looking at how to resolve various different psychological issues. You know, understanding what schizophrenia is, understanding what paranoia is, understanding what depression is. Because as your robot becomes more and more, if you will, independent, it's, not bad, 300, there's a chance as it becomes more and more self aware that what you'll end up with. And I thank you for the comment, but I'm on the phone right now. I'm on a tablet. a small thing. I don't know if there's enough screen space here. Let's see here if I can bring up the. No, I can't bring up the comment. So, but I will go back and look at the. I will go back and look at this and see what the comment is and reply after I've run the up to basically at the 20,000. What it was okay. Here we go. Now that we can't get that second mission to the four power jumpers, they haven't shown up. Sometimes they don't show up. They know the game has a sort of an awareness. It tracks what you've completed, what you haven't completed, and they hold back the power jumpers in order to sort of keep you playing longer. But you can purchase your way around, and we have 615. This is going to add a little bit of length to the thing. So we got that. We got the daily mission. We got the mission. We got some more coins. Let's see what we get in coins. And we with a double up here like this, we're now down by 400 points. We can easily make that up with a run, and we're back on track to the 20,000 goal. So yeah, this is the way Wordy Week is going to be. Is that we do talk about the game, but we also talk about other things that go on and how things evolve, and and it's specific to the point of research actually. And I said, there's no way actually at this point because we're live to cut out the commercial. So the best thing to do is simply talk over them. So this is sort of as we're gaming, we're doing these discussions, and so there we are. We're at 615 and 400 coins. So not much of a loss in terms of moving up one level, and it does make a difference in terms of what the gameplay is like. So now we're running up to we need another 5,000. So there's 5,000 left to go. Yesterday I completed the 10,000 the 10,000 mark. Uh, I got up there usually within about 15 minutes. I have no idea what the time is right now or how long I've been playing. So it'll be interesting to see at the end of the. This is one of the things that pops up here. There are gesture glitches. I did the gesture to jump, but the device and the software in the app didn't recognize it. And this has to do with the touch device, the screen's sensitivity. And sometimes there are dips in the sensitivity that causes the touch not to be recognized. And this is right now, I said, once again, we're playing with on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. It is basically Apple, the Apple's iPhone 10, or as many people are calling it now, iPhone X. Either is fine. Because X is the Roman numeral for 10. Mm. Yeah, Apple iPhone X is iPhone 10. It's basically a carbon copy of the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. And I said they have these glitches. Particularly the newer the device is, the closer it is to the launch date you get the device, the worse the device is actually going to be because there are often bugs and issues with the phone that haven't been resolved yet. Yet no swipe gesture to the left that didn't work. It lagged. This gives us 3,000 coins. This is the double up. Yay, bingo! I don't know. I can't get into bingo. When I was younger, I liked bingo, but not as a kid. I liked bingo, but not now. And they have these roulette games. Most of the roulette games, the if you know the mathematics behind probability, you begin to realize that the roulette games, particularly the electronic ones, are rigged for loss. That you're not going to be able to do much of anything with them. All right, so we were at 618,000, almost 619,000. We have 1,000 and a bit more to go. So we'll be done within 5 minutes. Once again, there's this lag. The device is starting to lag again. I think it has something to do also possibly with the network as well. If there's issues with the network, like right now, it's recording, it's doing this Twitch stream and the gaming at the same time, and that might be causing issues. But now it's fine again, working. Who knows? This is the problem with glitches. You don't really just because you build something, there's no way you're gonna actually really know what it's exactly gonna do. There's always gonna be certain aspects, and this is true with the sort of an indication of the reality of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that you can never know things to an exact degree. There's always going to be some degree of uncertainty, and this is the word in quantum physics. This is the whole issue of probability, where instead of having a deterministic science where you can determine everything to an exact degree, which was what you had prior to 1945, prior to quantum mechanics. And ironically enough, that's the science they call modern science, because after that, the philosophical period after 1945 becomes postmodern, and postmodern basically means no rules. Everything is a concept. There is no reality, and well, anything goes because it now becomes a philosophy of hedonism, where if it feels good, it's right. If it feels bad, then it's wrong. And this is the sort of the breakdown of called moralistic philosophy. Yeah, we got a jackpot. We got a jackpot, and this is what happens sometimes. Yeah, we double up. We have 200,000. More bingo again. Don't mind the ads. But the saying is that alert. It was the reality of the atomic bomb. It was dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. That sort of ended modern science and the views that science could be determined exactly. Now, the reason why it didn't come out into the public like that, and science is still pretty much an exact thing, has a lot to do with Edward Bernays, who was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and the creation of PR. Now, we are well above our 20,000 mark, but the thing is, we are going to round it off. So being a nerd, I have an OCD. I need to get it to round numbers. And so the 20,000 will be sufficient for the round number. So we are going to continue play, even though we got the nice prize. And from here, uh, we'll take it and bring it up to the nice round 820,000. Missed the shoes there. Yeah, what happens is that the government, and this is what happens with Tesla's research as well. Was you wondering about Tesla and what happened to his research, why his research is missing? Well, it's not really missing. It's just being held by the government because the government doesn't want, and particularly with the military, they don't want military concepts to get out. You know this, and this is the reason why Tesla's work is is the way it is the entry point to Tesla is not well understood by the average person. And once you do have a knowledge in physics, enough knowledge in physics, you can get into Tesla, get reintegrated into Tesla, and then follow actually through research, follow Tesla's work into some pretty strange areas because Tesla was in an aspect of quantum physics that really hasn't been explored too well, and actually can actually lead into some of the superstrings M theory. So definitely an interesting area, to say the least, but also not again not intended for, not designed for general public consumption. And this is what happens that a lot of times when you see things in the news, these studies and these reports, these science reports, you're not getting the full picture. You're not even getting a fraction of what the reality actually is. And this is this whole thing with again no the touchpad went dead. No actual reality. Uh, I should have checked the numbers. No actual reality to the news. This whole thing with Donald Trump and this fake news. News has been fake for a long time. I mean, this is what they often say if you actually get into history, that history is written by the victor. So when you're reading a textbook in science or in history or anything about history, you're reading it from the point of view of the person who won. And they're going to sing their own praises. And of course, the other person is evil, the other side is evil and bad and this and that and the standard stuff. Most people don't understand that what we saw with the Donald Trump election was basically a wrestling match, just like the WWE and whatever, all these different wrestling organizations that people watch on TV. A large chunk of it's fake. And it's done because of the entertainment value. CNN does the same thing. CNN runs stories based on the entertaining value. If it gets viewerships, they're going to do it. And people can't understand what CNN was doing, running all these, you know, crazy stories and always harping on the Russian and this and the Russian that. And it's simple. It sold newspapers. It sold ad space. And there's the power jumper again. We missed it, but there it was. And the thing is, they were able to sell newspapers. Their ad revenue went up. Ooh, so close. We're about 50 coins off the 20,000 mark. So we will slightly go over it, but not bad. And people often ask me, who do I like for a party? I said, no parties. I'm an individualist. I don't, I am me. I'm not a feminist. I'm not a guyist. I'm not a this or that. I'm me. And politics are the same way. I don't like or trust politicians. They all have their degree of slime to them. And from my perspective, it's more of a pragmatic issue because none of them actually do any good. The less government there is around, the better. And so I vote for the people who consistently give me less government. And that's it. That's the entire voting choice. There is listen to people, listen to the speeches, listen to this and that, and ask the question: who's going to give me the least government, the smallest government possible? And that person gets my vote. And typically, because the Republicans are they are elitists, and I don't really care because I'm Pan Asian. I'm not white, and I don't care about going to a country club. I don't care about being elite or this or that. I'm a library lab rat. I spend most of my time studying, so I don't particularly care about being involved in, well, society. And so I don't care if they lock themselves in a country club. That's not going to affect, in terms of, if you know, the Asian cuisine, that's not going to affect how I eat. As long as I'm eating well, I have some good food, something good to drink. The anime that I want to watch on TV, want to watch, including the cartoon. Yeah, that's fine for me. That's good enough. Don't need anything more. I don't want anything more necessarily. Yeah, so this is going to be our last run because we're well over the 50 coins we need to get. So we are into the 20,000 mark. It'll be sufficient uh, this session, and of course I'll work on it. And actually, when I get online, I'll answer the comment. Right now, on the this is the gaming is going to be done on Android. They're going to be all done on tablets and phones. So this is the aspect of gaming that I'm kind of into right now in terms of that can be sort of done live streaming. Well, that's it there, and we are above the 500 coin mark. Another bag. Let's double this up. Oh, yeah. Swipe to dismiss. We're more than sufficient for 20,000. That's enough. Take the picture for Instagram. A lot of this stuff is going to be on Instagram. I make a flipogram slideshow and I post it to Instagram. So you can see it that way as well. Anyways, thank you for joining us. That's it.